Okay, so welcome back to the deep dive. You've tuned in, I think, because you really want to get a better grasp on what makes a high-level youth volleyball player, really tick. And you've given us a really amazing, just huge set of resources to really dig into. We've got coaching guides, safe sport documents, athlete development frameworks, coaching philosophies, like the whole 9 yards. And
Yeah, a really comprehensive collection.
our mission today is to go through all this material and really see if we can pinpoint the single most important thing. It could be a skill or an attitude or a personality trait that really sets apart these high-level players.
It's almost like we're trying to crack the code of what makes a great youth volleyball player. I mean, we've got so many different angles to consider here.
Yeah.
We've got those practical coaching techniques, like you mentioned, but then we also have these big picture frameworks for how athletes develop over time.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, creating the right environment is so important too.
Right. Yeah. And we have to consider that everything plays a role.
Exactly. I think by looking at all of this, we can start to see some really important principles emerge.
Okay, so I want to start with this concept that really jumped out at me from Dr. Darren Cannell's book, Coaching Sports to Internet Brats.
Okay. Yeah, Cano.
Yeah, he really emphasizes this idea of the team player, right? That's fundamental. And he describes a true team player as someone who's willing to play any role on the team.
Right.
And they put the team's goals ahead of their own, always,
That we before me mentality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We before me.
I think what's really interesting about Cannell's approach is that he doesn't just leave it at that. He goes deeper and gets really specific about what being a team player actually looks like in practice.
Yeah.
So it's not just about saying the right words, but it's about taking the right actions.
Yeah.
Genuinely celebrating when the team succeeds,
Yeah.
And seeing that as a victory for everyone, not just for themselves.
Right, right.
And then on the flip side, it's also about learning from losses together. Going through those tough times as a team, that's what makes a team stronger.
Totally. And he goes even further and actually lists out a bunch of specific characteristics
Right.
of what a good teammate looks like.
Okay, yeah, give us some examples.
So he talks about things like having a positive attitude, hustling all the time, being coachable,
Right.
having confidence,
Right.
mental toughness, being resilient, accepting responsibility.
Wow, that's a really comprehensive list.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, and you can see how each one of those traits would make a huge difference on a team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was really interesting how he connects these characteristics to mental skill.
Oh, yeah, that connection is fascinating. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so he says things like motivation, staying positive, setting goals, managing your emotions. Those aren't just separate skills.
Right.
They actually fuel those core team player attributes.
Right.
So if you have strong mental skills, you're going to be more resilient. You're going to be more coachable. You're going to be more positive for your team.
It's like mental skills are the foundation for being a great team player.
Yeah.
But then that makes me wonder, how do these young athletes actually develop these crucial mental skills?
That's a great question. Cannell talks about how the effort that a player puts into training is a really big indicator of their mental strength.
Effort, huh? So it's not just about showing up, but it's about what? The intensity?
Yeah, intensity, focus, their commitment.
That makes sense. The more effort they put in, the stronger their mental game becomes.
Yeah. And this connects to another big idea in the book. He says that the amount of effort and time it has taken to earn something is directly proportional to its value.
Wow, that's a really powerful statement.
Right.
It really emphasizes that you don't just get these qualities, you have to work for them.
You have to earn them. Yeah, absolutely.
So becoming a great team player, it's not a shortcut, it's a process. It takes dedication and perseverance. Right.
And this idea of earning something valuable, that really connects with the Elite Academy excerpt too.
Oh, interesting. How so?
So they talk about core values like being enthusiastic.
Okay.
And they break that down into effort, passion, creativity, positivity, inspiration, and enjoyment.
Wow, that's a pretty expansive definition of enthusiastic. They're really packing a lot in there.
They are. And then they have this other core value, integrity, and that includes trust, loyalty, honesty, teamwork, and a strong ethical foundation. You can see how these overlap with Cannell's emphasis on effort and being a strong team player.
Yeah, absolutely. Both sources are really zeroing in on effort and teamwork as crucial elements.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and look at this comprehensive guide to coaching elementary and high school age athletes. Volleyball.
Okay.
This guide gets really specific and practical about how different parts of the game and different player roles connect to being a team player. It's really
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear more about that. It sounds like it takes Cannell's ideas and applies them to like real world scenarios on the court.
Right, exactly.
Cool.
So, for example, they talk about the setter
The setter.
and
Okay.
how important that role is.
Right.
And they really highlight how the setter orchestrates the offense.
Yeah.
They make these critical decisions in the moment. They have to communicate really effectively with their teammates,
Right.
and they often take on a leadership role.
Yeah.
And all of these responsibilities are about making the team's offense as strong as possible, not just about individual achievements.
The setter's success is really tied to how well they can elevate their teammates. It's like they're the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Making sure everyone else is in the right position to score.
Yeah, I like that
A
analogy.
good one.
They're definitely the quarterback.
Yeah.
And the guide also talks about how coaches can help develop these team-oriented attributes in their players.
Oh, that's so important. So it's not just about hoping these qualities emerge naturally, but it's about coaches taking an active role in fostering them.
Yeah, they need to be intentional about it.
Okay, so how do they do that? What are some of the strategies?
Well, the guide talks about setting really clear expectations for behavior
Okay.
and promoting accountability among players
Right.
and giving positive feedback that focuses on team-oriented actions.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to reinforce the behaviors that contribute to the team's success.
Absolutely. And creating a supportive team environment is so important too.
Oh, yeah, the team culture can make or break a team.
So the guide talks about open communication between players,
Okay.
encouraging collaboration both on and off the court,
Right.
and actually incorporating team building activities into training.
Yeah, so it's not just about volleyball skills, it's about building those relationships and that sense of unity.
Exactly, exactly. And that kind of naturally leads us to the importance of respect and sportsmanship.
Oh, absolutely. Those are fundamental.
The comprehensive guide and Cannell, they both talk about treating your opponents with respect.
It's about competing with intensity, but also with class.
Yeah, regardless of how intense the game gets.
Right.
And we also have this pasted text that had a really powerful message: respect and represent.
Respect and represent. I like that. It's short but impactful.
Yeah, it's simple, but so important. It really emphasizes that being a good team player isn't just about how you interact with your own team. It's about how you represent your team in the volleyball community.
It's about being an ambassador for your team and for the sport itself.
Exactly. And even though the ERVA Purple Card document focuses on spectator behavior, it kind of indirectly supports this idea.
How so?
Because it's about maintaining a respectful environment for everyone, which ultimately benefits the players and their development.
It's creating that positive atmosphere where everyone feels safe and respected.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I want to shift our focus to the long-term development of these athletes. We have this document, LTADE Electronic April 2007.pdf.
Oh.
That stands for Long-Term Athlete Development,
Okay, got it. So this is about the big picture.
the big picture.
Yeah.
And it really emphasizes a holistic approach that takes place over many years,
It's a journey, not a sprint.
right? And there's this one stage called Learning to Compete
Okay.
that focuses on optimizing skills and making a serious commitment to your sport.
So at this stage, they're really starting to hone their abilities and decide if they want to pursue volleyball at a higher level.
Yeah. And I think this long-term perspective shows us that developing into a really valuable team player, that takes sustained effort. It takes dedication. It takes commitment to the team's goals over a long period of time.
It's not something that happens overnight. It's a process of growth and development that happens over years.
Absolutely.
And I think the LTED framework, just by its very nature, actually supports the development of team player attributes.
That's interesting. How so?
Well, because it emphasizes a well-rounded approach. You know, it encourages athletes to become versatile and adaptable. They're not just specializing in one skill, but they're learning how to contribute to the team in different ways. And as they grow and mature, their roles on the team might change.
Right. They have to be flexible.
Exactly. And the LTAD framework prepares them for that.
Okay. We also have the Safe Sport Training Toolkit and the Volleyball Canada document on open and observable environments.
Right. Those are both so important.
And while their main focus is on safety and inclusion and respect for all participants,
Yeah.
it's obvious that those things are crucial for building trust and positive relationships.
Absolutely. You can't have strong teamwork without those elements.
And players need to feel safe and respected, to communicate openly, to support each other, to really buy into the team's goals.
A safe environment allows players to be vulnerable to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes without being afraid of being judged.
Yeah.
It's about creating that psychological safety.
That's such a good point. And we can't forget about the role of parents in all of this.
Oh, parents are such a big influence.
Cannell has a whole section on the parents' role.
Okay.
And he talks about how important it is for parents to support their child's mindset,
Right.
emphasizing things like fun, healthy competition, respect, and also the idea that you have to earn your accomplishments.
It's about instilling the right values.
Yeah, and he also says that parents should trust the coach and the team's process.
Yeah, that's so important. Parents need to be on the same page as the coaches.
Because if they're not, it can create mixed messages for the young athlete,
Exactly.
and it can undermine the team dynamic.
If parents are constantly questioning the coach or only focused on individual stats, that can send the wrong message to their child.
Yeah, totally. So when we look at all this information, it really becomes clear that technical skills are important, obviously.
Yeah, you got to be able to play the game.
Right. But the overarching theme, the thing that keeps coming up over and over again, is the importance of being a dedicated, respectful, and mentally strong team player.
I agree. It's not just about how good you are individually. It's about how you contribute to the team as a whole.
Yeah.
And that's something that all of these resources in different ways really emphasize.
So for you, our listener, after this deep dive, it seems that being a great team player, that's the most fundamental thing.
It's the foundation for success in youth volleyball.
And here's a final thought to consider. Think about how consistently showing those team player attributes, how that might not only make you a better player, but also create a more positive and successful environment for everyone on the team.
And that could lead to even more opportunities and achievements down the road.
Right. So we encourage you to think about which of these qualities of a great team player really resonate with you and your experiences in youth sports.
Do you see these qualities being emphasized in the teams that you're involved with?
That's a really important thing to consider.
It is. It's something to keep in mind as you continue on your volleyball journey.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.